Most people chasing financial freedom never make it past stage 3. Not because they don't earn enough, and it's also not because they are not smart enough. And the reason they don't pass stage 3 is because they get stuck in a trap and they don't even realize it. Stage 3 is actually the turning point. And if you don't understand what's happening there, you might get stuck forever. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the 7 stages of financial freedom, and I'll be revealing exactly why stage 3 changes everything for everybody, and I mean everyone. Whether you're buried in debt or you're building your investment portfolio, this roadmap that I would show you actually shows you exactly where you are, and more importantly, it shows you how to get to the next level, or what the next level should look like. 5 years ago, I just moved to the UK and I was asking myself some questions. Can I retire? Being a fresh immigrant, right? How can I retire? Most importantly, I asked that question. And all the while, I was feeling completely burnt out in my career at the time. Thinking about it, many of us actually see finances as either black and white. Either you're working or you're retired. Either you're financially dependent or you're financially independent. And I used to see finances or money that way too. But for some, it's worse because it's keeping them stuck in a job that they actually hate. The fact is, financial independence comes in stages. They are in stages. They are in milestones. It's actually a spectrum. It's not like a switch that you could just turn on one day and start living that life. And realizing this means that each milestone that you reach along the way gives you more options, more freedom, more independence, and ultimately more power to design the life that you actually want. That's the reason why we make money, right? The first milestone is simply getting to zero net worth. Many people don't take this into account, and I know what you're thinking. Zero doesn't sound like something to celebrate, but if you have ever been in debt, you know exactly how restrictive debt feels. When you're in debt, you're not actually working for your future. You're actually working to pay off the past, right? What have happened in the past. You're always looking backward. Every paycheck, every income, and that means getting to zero means actually breaking that chain of actually looking to the past all the time. So then the question is, what debt should I focus on first? What debt should I prioritize if this is your situation? You focus on what we call bad debt. This is usually debts that are in double digits first, debts that are used to pay liabilities. Think of your credit card debt, payday loans, your car finance. These are the kind of debts that we are talking about to start with. And when you get to zero, it means that your future income is actually yours to direct. You have power, and that's stage 1. Stage 2 is to build a fully funded emergency fund. Traditional financial advice will tell you to save 3 to 6 months of living expense. The problem is, if you think of it as linear, and let's say you're saving 10% of your income, that means that before you can do anything else, it's going to take 5 years to reach maybe 6 months emergency fund. And while that's not bad, you've actually not started investing for your future, which would compound over time, right? All you've been doing is savings. And this is what actually gets many people discouraged, when they think that they will have to save this long to get their emergency fund in place. So what I think is best, and what I did, is to save 1 month of my essential expenses. We are talking about the bare bones, their food, housing, transport, nothing fancy, just what I need to put the lights on to feed my family. And then I split focus. I continue building that fund while I start investing for my future. Does that make sense? This could be a 50-50 split. This could be a 60-40, whatever. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you start investing instead of just saving. You start investing money that you won't touch for at least 10 years into the future. Another thing to note at this stage is that for many people that have come out of debt, right, you have more funds that are available that you could repurpose to turbo this savings and investment that we are talking about. Most people actually pay more than 10% of their income to debt. The goal is to make your savings rate as big as possible. while also having fun. And what this does is it reduces the time frame to reach your savings goal. Someone saving and investing 10% of their net income for retirement versus someone saving 50% would have different time scales. At this point, your savings rate is very, very important. I can't overstress that. But start with what you have. If it's 10%, if it's 5%, start with it. But there's a trick I heard from Pete Matthews of Meaningful Money, and it says that you should commit to increasing that savings rate, that percentage, by 1% every year. You won't notice that increase, but it will compound over time. Having an emergency fund in place actually changes your psychology completely. It does something to you that no one would ever explain to you. Experience it yourself. Suddenly your car breaks down and it's not an emergency, it's just an inconvenience. Suddenly you're no longer living in fear that something unexpected would happen and your whole life would be destroyed. If you keep saving and investing consistently, you're going to actually hit stage 3. And stage 3, like I said earlier, is the game changer. Many Brits never actually reach it. This is where everything about your financial journey actually transforms, and that is reaching 100,000 in your investment account. 100,000 pounds. This is when your money starts working as hard as you do. Up until this point, you have had to hustle, you saved, make sacrifices pound by pound. But once you cross that 100,000 pounds threshold, something magical actually happens. Your money begins working with you, alongside you, harder than ever before. And that's why stage 3 changes everything. What many people don't know, or what you might have suspected, is the fact that having 100,000 pounds actually makes you better than many UK households. According to the Office of National Statistics, right, the total wealth per UK household is 293,000 pounds, but that includes property. If you look at the financial wealth alone, meaning savings, investment, pensions, without property, the median is about 10,400 pounds. That's abysmal. That means that most people in the UK never experience what happens in stage 3, and that is having what you call FU money. This thing becomes real to you. You have enough to take calculated risk that other people can't actually afford. And I hope this makes sense to you. If you're finding this useful, please hit the like button, subscribe for more financial independence videos and investing videos like this. The 4th milestone is reaching the halfway point of financial independence. But to know what halfway looks like, you need to know what the full figure is, or what I call what is enough. You need to know what is enough. And I broke this down in the video that is called What is Enough. You will find that in the description or in a tag up here. And while this is half of the amount you need to be fully financially independent, your journey is actually more than halfway done. And why do I say this? Because it's at this point that your money is working on overdrive. Seriously, your money is working on massive overdrive for you. You've actually reached a point where your investments contribute more to your net worth than you're actually actively contributing in a good market here, right? I want that to sink in for a moment. Your money is making more money than you're actually saving from your paycheck at this stage. This is when the math of financial independence really starts working in your favor. Just picture that. Passive income, not your job, is what makes financial independence possible. But let's do some maths to actually buttress this point, to show what this looks like. Let's say at this point your yearly expense is 30,000 pounds. Using the 4% rule, simply your financial independence number would be 750, and half of that would be 375,000 pounds. Now let's say you stop contributing at that halfway mark, and your money grows conservatively 7% annual return. you would get over £26,000 a year in passive investments. And this is without lifting a single finger. You're sleeping, you're waking up, and you're making that money. Does this make sense? You're not even fully financially independent yet, but your money is almost covering your entire lifestyle on its own. At this point, many people do what we call post-FI or post-financial independence. And this means that you've saved enough early enough for your investment to grow to the full financial independence amount without you adding a single penny. And from this math, you can see that happening, right? Your investment pot is actually coasting. At stage 5, you're close to FI. At this point, you have enough to cover your essential expenses like housing, food, healthcare. You could actually take a sabbatical. You could start a business, or you could go part-time, or what the FI community call barista fi, where you don't have to wait until you have the full fund ready to change your life. At this point, most people here that are intentional let their investment income cover their essential needs like their mortgage, council tax, utility, groceries, whatever it is, and then they earn from part-time work purely for things like travel, dining out, helping their kids, that kind of stuff. They are not under pressure. They are not fully retired, but they've actually designed their life in a way that work is optional, work is enjoyable, not needed, not stressful. And that's stage 5. That's the power of stage 5, where work actually becomes a choice, not a necessity. Stage 6 is what most people will call full financial independence, where you no longer have to work up for money. Your time is completely your own. You can choose to work, you could choose to travel, sit on the beach, spend time with family, whatever it is that will bring joy and meaning to you. The final milestone is reaching financial independence, but with cushion. At this point, you have incredible security and room to increase your spending over time if you desire. This is actually having a feeling of abundance. You're not just living, you're not just meeting your needs, right? You can be generous as you want. You have financial security. You could leave a legacy. You could enjoy peace of mind, right? This is like bliss. But what about you, right? You've heard all of this. You've seen all the 7 stages. What do you have to do? First, identify where you are on this ladder, right? That is you being accountable. Be honest with yourself. There is power in knowing where you stand exactly, and I hope I've simplified it enough that you don't have to think. While I'm talking, you already know where you are. Second, if you're not yet at stage 3, right, you need to write a plan, create a plan that would help you get to stage 3. Every week I meet with people that will help them create this plan, help them determine how they need to get to stage 3. And we talk to people. And if you would like to do that, check the link in the description, book an hour session so we could have that discussion. Remember, this is the stage where everything changes, where your monies actually start working with you. Most people that are not intentional would not reach, but that's not you, right? You're watching this video. If you found this helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and if you'd like to have a chat, check out the link in the description. See you in the next one.